Okay, let's begin because this is a big topic. I hear this a lot from my clients and so many people that even ask about anything to do with spirit. I see numbers all the time, like 222, 444. I'll look over to my clock in the middle of the night and it's 444. What does that mean? And wanted to sort of cover this so we could find out really what's going on. And I think everybody is pretty comfortable knowing to the fact that there is this the spirit realm trying to communicate with us. I think that's pretty much a good general consensus, and everybody knows that. What does this mean? They're trying to tell me something, meaning the numbers keep coming up again and again, or addresses that have 222 in it. If you're looking for a place to live, and you're being directed to numbers that are all very much doubled. I saw one the other day that had 5 threes in it, 3333 as an address. Is that a good one? So we want to talk about that a little bit and go over. I mean, this is such a vast topic. We can talk about this really for hours when it comes to numerology and numbers, but we want to just go over it just from an awareness standpoint as to what some of these numbers and why they're coming to you in that way. First of all, just so everyone is aware that it is a form of communication, and spirit is in the realm of numbers, because when you look at scientists, the way they do all their calculations, it's all about math. It's all about theories and formulas and how to use the numbers and to make sense of what the universe is all about. It's not about explanation. It's not about words, because words itself are very clumsy. Very, very clumsy. I mean, if you look at just the languages that we have on this planet, we have, the last time I checked, over 7,000 languages on this earth. And if you look at what that would mean, and spirit is connected to everyone on this planet. So it would be much more difficult and not the most optimum to communicate to us through words. However, they still do that. I remember one time I was going to take a course, or my ambition was to take this course. I wasn't sure if I should take it or if it's part of my path. So I asked in my meditation, should I take this course? I wasn't really getting a whole lot, and all I was getting was just go for a walk. All right? And so I went for a walk, and within 5 minutes I'm walking through a forested area right onto a street, and I'm going to cross the street and back into the forest. And in that time, walking on the sidewalk, a car pulled up in front of me and just sort of parked on the side of the sidewalk. And there's this beautiful red Cadillac. It's one of the SUVs, not the Escalade, but the one down. I think it's the CRT or whatever it's called. But the license plate said, "Go for it." So it was so obvious to me that Spirit had set that up in my language, in red, which I'm, very, red is really a standout color, and it just went in front of me and stopped for that moment that I came out of the forest. And if they would have waited at least 10 seconds before or after, I would have missed it. And we're all saying, Spirit doesn't really have a handle on time. And you're right, they don't. But man, are they right on the button, aren't they? Those of you that have had synchronicities with that, and if I would have been a little slower, or if I would have said, nah, maybe I'll have breakfast first. But no, right after, it said, go for a walk now. And so I just said, yeah, what the heck, it's a nice day. So I did go. So in that travel, they could communicate with our language, which is possible, but it isn't the most optimal, right? You could only imagine the orchestration it took not only to convert what the message would be in my language, but to get the actual Cadillac or the car to be in front of me at that certain time in that certain I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you can't even put that together. It is such a very well orchestrated time. But essentially, the spirit world works on numbers. Everything is in the numbers. Everything is in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of the numbers from 1 to 9, okay? And the reason 9 is because in the Pythagorean, when you bring everything down to one digit, you're going to be either a 1 to a 9. There's no 10, there is no 11, because when you add the two of them together, let's say it's 11, then it turns into 2. So 2 has become the lowest thing. So we're going to work on that one. There are many other theories. There are many other ways to look at numerology. But for this class, we're going to look at those things. So when you see it, you could start to pick up just little things. Okay? The first thing is the number 1. Number 1 is sort of a God symbol. It is a symbol of unity. It's a symbol that something is coming together or bringing something together, and it is sort of a new beginning. Everything is a new beginning. When you see a lot of ones, like 1111, it's angels saying that a new beginning is about to happen. And we usually see things like that, let's say after a breakup, and let's say this new relationship hasn't started yet. And so we'll see a lot of those. Why am I getting ones of a new beginning? Something has ended. And so all they're saying is, yeah, if you wait a little longer, a new beginning will start. I mean, just look at your first kiss, your first date, your first day on the job, the first time you ever drove a car, the first day of a 4-year university degree. Okay, so the first day was very significant because it is a new beginning of something. So when you get a lot of ones, it is essentially about new beginnings. Okay? 2 is about partnership. It's about unity. It's about two energies coming together. But it's not like one of those that they come together and they celebrate and they do all that. There's sometimes toil and conflict in there because that's part of the growth. I mean, would you ever it's nice to have a partner that says yes to everything, wouldn't it, in the beginning? But after a while, trust me, it would be annoying. What do you want for supper? Do you want hamburger? Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great. How about pizza? Yeah, that'll be great. You want to go for a walk? Yeah, let's do that. Or we could go, let's say, to a museum. Yeah, let's do that. That would drive you nuts. Don't you have a thought of your own? In other words. So when you get a lot of 2s, it's about partnership, but sometimes it is misinterpreted as a partnership that's going to go fantastic. I mean, those of you that know anything about twin flames, about soulmates and everything, it isn't about everything going hunky-dory, is it? It's actually sometimes the opposite. It is the opposite because you're both growing in that sort of conflict. And it's not always a conflict. You have a difference of opinion. And like, in other words, let's use the most outrageous one. You're not going to be talking about abortion or something so controversial, because there is no really any end to that. But it would be more like, I think we should buy this house. And someone could say, well, yeah, that would be good. However, I'm a little concerned with the zoning. There's the playground when we have children is like 15 blocks away. Does that mean you're going to be taking a car? Yeah, actually, you're right. I never thought of that. That's what you need. That's where the partnership comes in. So when you get a lot of 2s, it's about a partnership coming, whether it's a personal partnership like a spouse or a business partnership or something that's coming together as 2, unity, all right? And it's about synergistic results. In other words, what you would do by yourself and what the other person could do by themselves. When you come together, they're actually going to be the sum of more than the 2 of them when you add them up. It's going to be more. So we call that synergistic results. That 2 come together, and it's almost like a third person. All right? And it's so there's more things that come, and that's where the growth is. 3 is about wisdom, something to do with wisdom. It has to do with the aspects of things come in 3s. Like there's in some cultures they bow 3 times before a certain meeting or a certain ritual, or they'll do something 3 times. If you look at even some of the scriptures, Jesus started his ministry at 30. So there's your 3. But it was crucified at 33. He actually rose on the 3rd day after he was crucified. So in other words, the 3 is very significant. It comes up again and again. It's also about, if you look at even our most simplest thing in our culture, which is jokes. You know, if you look at, it's always the 3rd one is where the funny thing comes in. It's like the joke the other day that I heard where 3 guys have an accident and they all pass away. So now they're in heaven and St. Peter comes to them and saying, "Oh, sorry, we made a mistake. You weren't supposed to die, so it was not your time. So we're going to get you to go back. But this time, as a bonus, you can go back and you can be whatever you want. So just go over to the cloud, say what you want to be, and just jump off." So the first guy goes over and he says, "I want to be a doctor." And he jumps off and he becomes a doctor. The next person goes over and he says, "Engineer," and he dives off and he becomes an engineer. The third guy is so excited, he goes over, he trips, and he goes, "Oh crap." So in other words, when you look at the various jokes that would happen, it would happen in that 3rd. So 3 is very important in the sense that it's created a pattern, and then the 3rd one is the solution sort of thing, or what you want to say. 4. If you get a lot of 4s, those of you that know 4s, it is angelic. It's all about angels connecting to you. So with the example that we gave before we started was, if you wake up in the middle of the night, you just get startled and you look over at your clock and it says 444. That means somebody had woken you and the angels are right there. Now having 3 of them means wisdom. There's a wisdom oriented, as we talked about in the 3s, but 4 is where the angels come in. It's also looked at, if you look at many things that have 4s in it, like it's 40 days and 40 nights, about the various things in the disciples. 40 years of penance. We look at our 4 winds, the 4 seasons, the summer, winter, spring, fall, and then 4 directions, north, south, east, west, that kind of thing. All right, so 4s are very important in terms of where we're going, what direction are we going, and it's about guidance. It's about some form of guidance from your angels, from your angel guides. Okay. 5 is a big one. I think when I get 5s, it's all about change. When I get 3 5s, like you look at down at your clock on your car and you see 555, you just make sure that you're looking where you're going, because there's going to be massive change. 1 5 is one thing. Like you get 5s all the time. You see 1 5s, and 5 keeps coming up, and then 555. It just means massive change is coming. All right. Now we're looking at numbers in its singular point, and it's very, very rudimentary. I mean, it would be just like me going into primary school and talking about the alphabet, the ABC, but we were not using words yet. We're not using all the different ways you can use words, and you want to already write a book. All right, so there's so much more to this. But again, in the overall thing, this is what the numbers start having this meaning. You get a lot of 5s, okay? So what you're going to be doing is finding out what numbers are coming to me, because it is angels, or is the spirit world trying to constantly communicate with you in various ways. And so it is their language, the numbers. 6 is something that I like to stay away from as a rule, because it's all about lessons that you do. You get a lot of 6s, means that if you want a job, let's say, and the address of that job is 66, whatever the street is, and let's say you don't get it, and you're saying, "Oh, I really wanted that job," and it says, "What was the address of the place?" And I said, "Okay, no, it's all about lessons with that." And so if you have not learned a lesson about something, let's say you're in a work environment in one company. I'm just giving you a real life situation, because this has happened. you're in a work situation, and you're constantly being ridiculed, constantly being uh, saying that you can't do something, you're undermined. They always set up pranks for you, and it's really not a great place to work, right? But over time, you realize, you know what, I'm not taking this anymore. And so you speak up and you say, no, this is not going to be right. And you sort of become part of a safety team, and you start to take ridicule, and you start to take all these other very toxic behaviors out of the workforce. Okay? And let's say it does work, and people do start to not behave themselves, but to start to treat people with respect. And then for whatever reason, you move from that job, and then another job wants you. Okay? And so that is 6-6. But in that energy, there's a lot of turmoil, and there's a lot of ridicule and everything else. So Spirit will say, you've already learned your lesson of speaking up. You don't need this job. So they'll make it so that you won't get it. And so in other words, it could be a good thing. So when you start understanding about lessons, if you have not learned the lesson, let's say the same situation, you are in this toxic workplace, and then you say, I can't take this anymore, I'm not going to speak, I'm just going to quit. Okay, so then you take that energy, and what do? You're now moving it to a new job with the same energy of you not speaking up. Then that company with 6-6, they'll hire you. You see? So in other words, the lessons that you did not learn, you'll be going into that, and it'll be different spaces and different faces, but it's all the same thing. All of a sudden, people will say, how come I always get to be in a toxic work environment? How come I always land up in that? And then you talk to other people, and they said, wow, I've had 10 jobs in the last, let's say, 15 years, and it's been great. I have never been ridiculed. I have never, right? So it's not just everyone and everywhere you go is toxic. It's everywhere that person goes, because they're taking that energy with them. So the 6s are very significant in this way, where it says if you've learned a lesson, you don't need to learn it again. Spirit is not a real big fan about wasting your time. They really are not. Once you've learned something, it's like a vaccination. It's like you don't have to take it again, ever. All right? If you've learned to speak up, if you've learned to work through that and to do what was supposed to be done, feel that you feel good, then you don't need to learn it again. And if you get into that again, then maybe you're there to help someone else. It's not for you, maybe to help somebody else. But the 6s are about lessons. And we've also looked at different scriptures about the 6s, 6 days of rebirth in Genesis, and the 7th day was rest. Okay, if you look at different things. Combat or conflict during those 6 days. So it doesn't mean it's going to be impossible, but it will be some degree of a journey of conflict. And that's something that if you just, you could be a person that just doesn't like conflict. I have many, many people that I know that just despise conflict. They want everybody to be happy. They want everybody to be laughing and getting along, right? And those are going to be the hardest people to really get this, because it is about a little bit of turmoil and conflict. And through all of that, when you get to the other end, will be rest, and there will be peace. So somewhere in there, you have to go through that, and you'll always be getting people that are going to be upset for absolutely what will seem like there's no reason. But they're going to have a hard time with that. So 6s are a big thing with that. If you get a lot of 7s, 7s are great, actually. It's all about divine connection. Divine connection, if you get a lot of 777, I know when I get 777, it is my daughter talking to me. So I always look around, where am I? And you got to look at the various details. When you get a lot of 7s, and let's say it's on a license plate, what's the make of the car? Did maybe somebody in your family have that model car? What's the color? Who's in the car? Is the person pregnant? We won't always know that, but let's say you go to a shopping center and you see that they just parked and they get out and you notice one of them is pregnant. Okay, what does that mean? The 7 sevens, and there's a rebirth of something. Okay, what's the color of the interior? What are they doing? Are they looking confused? And so it's all about detail. All right, and I've been told this time and time again. Look at all. It's not just the number, because when we choose a number and we orchestrate something in numbers, it's way deeper than it looks just on a plate. It's like me telling you that. Okay, what would be a good example? I could say that I'm going to a place for recreation. I want to get out and do something, and that could be anything. Like, where would that be? Is it going to a hockey game, or is it like, where are you going? And they said, no, I just want to get out. And so that's what the 7 might mean. But when you look at it in a deeper way, then you'll start seeing that there's other things going on, and trying to remember what you saw in that. Sometimes I'll take a picture of the license plate just so that I can be reminded, and I'll put it in a journal or I'll write it down somewhere, because sometimes it could be one piece of a puzzle and there's maybe another 25 more coming. And I'm not going to remember all of them, but if I write it down, I'll look at it to see, there's 7, there's 8, 9, 2, 3, 4. Wait a second. There's a pattern here, right? But you won't see the pattern if you don't write those things down. So if you're going through a tough time, like a really difficult, challenging time, and you start seeing numbers again and again, let's say all 2s, 222. Okay, I know it's about partnership, and the 3s are about wisdom. I get it. And then just start journaling. What does this mean? And what do you see the 222 on? Is it your phone? And where are you? What time is it? Is it 2:22 in the morning or in the evening? Because there's 2 different ways of having. Again, you write those down, and again, you're just looking for patterns. And then all of a sudden, people will say this. All of a sudden, the 222s I'm not seeing anymore, but now it's all about 3s. 333. I'm seeing 3333 everywhere. 3s everywhere. Okay? I'm at a red light, and a bus goes by, and he says, check with us, and our address is 333 Main Street. Okay? So when 3s are coming up, you write that down. And what's the day? Is it, let's say, March the 3rd? The 3rd month of the 3rd day, and you get it at 3 o'clock. Okay, is there any kind, and the 3:33, of course, is 3 o'clock, 33 minutes sort of thing. And so, okay, why am I getting all these 3s? And when you start getting those, again, just journal them. But the 7s are very powerful that way. It'll give you that idea. But it's all about divine connection. You want 7s in your address, let's say. 7s meaning I want the address of 52. Or I want the address of 16, because it adds up to 7. Or I want 70, 70, which is 7, okay? Or 77. 77 is a good address to have. All right, pretty clear? So again, these are, and only if you have a choice, of course, but if you have a choice between 2 houses, one is 66 and the one is 77, well, I would probably choose the 77 if it doesn't matter to you, okay? So it gives you that, again, that awareness. 8s. I love 8s. You know why? Because it has all to do with abundance. You get a lot of 8s. 88, 88. 8 is all about abundance. Have you ever heard of the term 8 days a week? It means you've gone through the entire week, and now you're going through it again, but 8 is like an extra. And that's what abundance is all about. It's extra that you have in your bank account, right? If you have your normal account and you just are able to pay what you have in your account, there's nothing extra. There's no abundance. But 8, meaning there's only 7 days in a week, but 8 days in a week is referring to the fact that now we have extra abundance. And that's what we're shooting for. So 8s are great. 8s are all about the fulfillment, totality, and it's all, anyway, 8s are all about abundance when you get a lot of 8s there. Now, when you let's say, get a combination of numbers, like you get an 8 and then a 7, Okay, abundance in divine connection. Okay, what does that mean? What am I connected to? And the other thing the Spirit wants you to realize that each of you has a number as well. Okay, in my energy, I'm an 8. That is my. I've been told that for many, many decades, so it's nothing new. But what is your number? And so, and it'll be a single number. It won't give you like a 15-digit, like a registration number. It's one number, okay? And if you do get that long, add them all up and then get it down to one number, and then that's your number, okay? Also, Spirit wants you to realize, and you could write this down if you like, because as part of the meditation, I'm going to get you to write something during the meditation. So have a pad of paper and maybe a pen, okay, close to you. I'm going to give you some numbers here, and I just want you to write it down. Actually, I'm going to put it in the chat here, just for those that that maybe won't write it down. And the number is 903 56 dash or divide, okay, 358. Okay, everybody see that? There's the number, 903 56 dash 358. Now, when you get that number, what it means in spirit form is God is with you. Now, it sounds like, okay, that's a lot of numbers for God is with you. But that's the point. When someone says God is with you, He's right beside you, you're at His feet. What else would that mean? Well, that would mean that I'm not being judged. I'm being loved. I am not alone. And we could talk about this for 2 hours on what it means when you have Spirit right beside you. Okay? So that's what that means. That is their code. And it is up to us. Well, Spirit is not saying that we have to learn what the codes are, because there's an infinite amount of ways that they could express something through numbers. It's more of a feeling. And the feeling that you get is numerically part of it. Like if I give you a word, okay, now these words, again, the languages are very sloppy, but even if I say the word baby, what does that mean to you? All right, you could talk for days about the word baby, how babies smell when they're newborn, how they're so loving, how they're so always laughing, how they can teach us to be living in the moment, and on it goes. And that's only one word. But baby is maybe the same type of numbers. There's 5 numbers, then there's a dash, then that could mean baby. But you see, it means so much more when you feel the energy of the word baby. It's not the word that means anything, right? Because somebody has said to me many, many times ago, you could write your name, your own name, on a piece of paper, and if you look at it for more than 50 seconds, you will not recognize what the word is. Because they're just letters and words. And the only reason that you could read your name is because you're reading it fast. I could see Teresa. I could see Linda. I could see... But if you write down Linda and you look at it and look at it and look at it, eventually you'll just see, and it won't mean anything because it is just letters and a word. So it shows that the cognitive writing it down has very limited significance. But if you say baby real fast, and what do? You don't look at the word, you look at what baby means to you. That's where the significance is. And that's what it's like with a number. When you look at a number, don't just look at the number. What does this number feel like? Those that are really connected to crystals and other things, or I met a lady the other day that was connected to feathers. If she gets a hawk feather, or if she gets a feather from a crow, like in the bush, and if she gets a feather from a chickadee, they all have different energies, and I feel how light this feather is from the energy of the animal that it came from. And then I feel the hawk feather and I feel this power, right? It's not the feather, it's where the feather came from, the origin of the feather. So the origin of these numbers is what I want you to start appreciating and sort of just let yourself go in your energy. And what do you feel from this number? Okay, does that sound fair? So we're going to get you to look at numbers in a totally different way. Spirit has said several times to me over the last many, many years that if a scientist were clairvoyant, it's very difficult to get a scientist to be clairvoyant because they don't even believe in God in many of them, or they don't. But if a scientist was clairvoyant and was able to speak to angels and be able to get these numbers and be able to feel what these numbers are, he could decipher the universe to the other professors that are just looking at numbers. Because that's why they haven't figured it out. Because the mind is so limited, it has to go to a larger realm for you to understand all of this. And all of it is numbers, it's true. But all Spirit is saying, it's always going to be incomplete. They're on the right track, yes, absolutely. And they're further away now than they used to be 50 years ago, or even 100 years ago. Einstein was a nice attraction to that. But Spirit says we could have used another 10 Einsteins. That would have been able to, because he was also spiritually linked. He had some very cool terms that if you look at Einstein, some of his terms, he was starting to become very spiritual, and he's a brilliant scientist. And that's what it will take to unlock the secrets of the universe. But it wasn't enough. It's always incomplete because there's always a human person trying to figure it out rather than feeling it through. Okay? In this meditation, what I want you to do, we're going to do something fun. In this meditation, the angel frequencies are built into the music. You've heard this before. It's the Ho'oponopono one with the Jupiter. Jupiter is our heart chakra, which is connected to Spirit. They are the ones that keep your heart going, okay? And it has the angel sounds in the background embedded in there to help you connect to your guides. And I want you to ask them, what message do you have for me? But I want you to give it to me in numbers. So I want to have you have a pad of paper close to you. And as you hear the sounds and you're asking what your number is, you're going to start getting numbers. Now, I don't know how they're going to do it. Each person will get it differently. If you see, let's say, 3 birds in your visual, when you're closing your eyes, and you write 3. And if you see, maybe you might see an actual number. Whatever works for you, whatever it is. At the end of this, you may have 28 numbers. Okay? We'll talk about what that means after. But I just want you to get them to start communicating with you in their language. And that way you meet them more than halfway, because they don't deal with you in words. And they don't deal with you in messages. They take their language in numbers and they have to translate it to your language. So if you're French, they have to translate it in French and English and whatever other group that you're in. It doesn't matter, but the meaning will be the same. Your interpretation will be different. So that's why it's very sloppy. They don't like the language part. So let's go the other way. Let's see what their language is, and we're going to help you decipher it a little bit at the end of this class. Fair? Okay, this is going to be fun. I don't know if you've ever done this. I haven't done this. But let's see what you are going to be getting based on the numbers of your significance. You can also ask them, what is my number? From 1 to 9, what am I? Am I a 7? Am I a 6? Or am I a 3? And if you are a 6, it doesn't mean it's bad. Okay? If you're a 6, you're a 6. Whatever it is, okay? None of it's bad. It's just good to know what that means and how you're going to be, and it will explain so much to you once you know your number. And then ask them, what message do you have? And then start giving it to me in numbers. and then just have your pad ready. Some people can write down numbers with their eyes closed, and so if you have that ability, then you can do that, or you could do it by just squinting your eyes and just writing the number down as you're getting it. You may get one number at a time. You may get sets of numbers like 3, 8, 4, 9. 3, 8, 4, 9, and just keep going, okay? And you're taking notes in numbers. Fair? Let's have some fun? Okay. Okay, so take a nice deep breath. If you have been pushed or if you've been resonating with the color green, I want you to breathe in green light. If you resonated with red, because it's one or the other, if you resonate with red more, I want you to breathe in that red energy, okay? And then just keep breathing that, and we'll explain what those are after. But for right now, whichever color that resonates with you the most, right now, not your favorite color, but right now, what do you feel that you are? Are you red or are you more green? Breathe that in, and then just connect to your, and then we'll go from there. All right. We'll see you in about 20 minutes, okay? Sit comfortably. Start breathing, relax, okay? If you have to lie down, please do so. And as long as you can hear the music.
I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Please forgive me. Thank you.
How's everybody doing? Yeah, some of you picked up on it. I didn't do the number 9 on purpose. 9, in a sense, essentially means completion. Everything is done. So when you get a 333, adds up to 9. That's something is complete. 999 is 27, and then when you bring it down to its common denominator, 2 and 7 is also 9, so it's also complete. So when you get a lot of 9s, the other meaning of 9 would be truth, joined with goodness and waiting for celebration. So think about it. When something is complete, there's an anticipation from spirit that you're going to celebrate. But how many of us celebrate that you got your degree, maybe for a short time, and then you get right to work? Or there's this long time thing that you've been working on, a project or something, and it's finished, and then you move right into the next project without the celebration. Then Spirit sees that as there was another step that should have happened, and then you went right into the next thing. In other words, after 6 days of turmoil and creation, there's a day of rest, a day of celebration, a day of joyety, a day of getting drunk, a day of, because they expect that. That is expected. That's part of who you are. You're a wave. When you slap against the rock, like let's say if you were a wave, it is impossible for you to have one big wave and you're constantly doing that assertion all the time. There's a retreat, and it builds up again, and it comes back. That's our whole planet revolves around a cycle, around a wave. Part of that wave is celebration. That's why I didn't mention it, because how many people did get 9s in their... Oh, first of all, how many people got a whole series of numbers? Okay, anybody get nothing? Did anybody get nothing at all? Okay. Don't feel embarrassed like if you haven't, because that's fine. There's a way that we can turn that around. I'll have this particular class recorded and it'll be posted. So if you didn't get anything and you don't want to say anything, that's okay. You can watch it again and see if sometime it'll work. But I was getting it in clumps of 3. I'm not sure how you were getting it. If you're getting it one at a time, I was getting it in 3s, like 4, 3, 9. 4, 82, 8. I got a few doubles. And one thing I found, just so I can start the dialogue, about a quarter of the way through I got 999, and then in there I got 666, then I got 777, with 3 or 4 lines down, then I got an 888. And what I was getting from Spirit is that when we get those 777s, that's when they send that out. Like as part of my whole message, which I have probably close to 50 numbers here, they'll take 3 and they'll send it out. And that's and then we say, what does that mean? Well, that's why it's so complicated, because they're only sending you part of a message. It's like a very famous speech. All I have to say is just a few words of a speech and you'll know the rest of it. And I'll give you an example. I have a dream. Do you know the rest of it? Okay, I didn't have to say everything. So in other words, numbers are a little bit like that, where you've heard it so often, it's so inspiring, and you just feel the words. But the numbers are like that as well. Okay? So if you got, so anybody want to share, how did you get a lot of, saw a lot of 111s, I see. Saw the end of the 38, 379 over and over again. Okay, 379. 7 sevens with swans. See, as you can see, they're all different. And so they should be. Each one of us has a certain message to come from. In the 777s, I was more getting, I was getting something else. But you see, that was an individual thing. So to make it so that it is palatable or universal, like what would this mean to a million people, it's very difficult because it's a personal message for you. So the sevens, and so you only have a brief idea of how number 1 means I love you. Yeah, that's a new beginning. That could mean that, absolutely. When I saw it right near the ending with the pups and the love there and everything, I was getting, I wrote that down, 493 for me. So for me, that has some significance. So in my meditation, I'm going to sort of rejig that, because every time I came to a certain sound, like the whales, when I heard the whales, I definitely got a 999. And then when I heard there was the, what else was it? There was the birds when they were feeding the little chickadees out of the tree. I was getting a 710. So you see, so when you see, that's why I played that particular meditation, because it has sounds of nature, which is also mathematically and numerically generated. Whale was 99. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I got, 999. So very, very good. The whales have an incredible, and of course, all of their sounds are numbers. When you look at the oscilloscope and when they look at it, it's all math. All of it's math. And when we, and what there's this one that somebody took the whale sounds and slowed it down. I forget how many times, 200 times, and it sounded like a symphony, almost like it was a symphony. And they did the same to crickets. And they, when they do a cricket, and they what did they do with the crickets? They had to slow it down 93 times, and it sounded like a choir in a church. This beautiful hymn, and it was just crickets, and they just slowed it down to the lifespan of a human. So a cricket, I forget what it was. How long do crickets last? 3 weeks or something like that, maybe a month. And so they took that span of time, and they took a human life, which is around 80 years, and they adjusted the ratio so they would be the same, and the same ratio was adjusted in the sound. So the sound was sped up so that it would be 80 years if it was human, and that's what they got. This hymns and I'll play it for you. I have it. I have the file there somewhere. But you would swear that, oh, that's a hymn, and it went up, and then it sort of, and it was singing, and you would think that's a choir. No, it's a cricket. So it's all mathematical. Everything is math, and those that are studying mathematics or anything, they're just scratching the surface. But what really will make this exponentially go forward is feel what the numbers are saying. Okay, because it will mean something different for everyone. Now, you should have a set of numbers, whatever. Oh, I don't think you can see that. I can't see it. You'll have a set of numbers. What I want you to do, I was going to segregate it. Oh, okay, yeah. Now, they told me to give you an example, first of all. Now, how many know what I'm talking about? It's in one line. Now, why can you understand that? Because there's no spaces, right? So numbers are the same. So what I was going to do was going to segregate the numbers for you so you could read it. But Spirit says that, no, don't do that. Because you could just write whatever you want, and people can get an idea of what you're trying to say in one line. So your homework is to take your number, your sheet, and if you have a shirt pocket, put it close to your heart or somewhere in your pocket. The next time you meditate or you're in a quiet space, or if you're just having lunch and you're just put your hand on the numbers. And what are you feeling? Because that is your personal message. So the numbers that you would normally get on your clock or on a license plate or on an address, or somebody constantly saying the 379 over and over again, what does that mean? Sure, we could break it down. The 3 is wisdom, 7 is divine connection, 9 is completion. But what does that really mean for you? That's a general thing. That's like taking aspirin and it's supposed to solve everything, and it doesn't. So we don't want to generalize it and sort of dummy it down. The Spirit doesn't like that. This is a very personal message for you. So if you were to put your finger on the 379 with your left hand. Now, if you're right-handed, your left side is your receiving. If you're left-handed, then your right side is your receiving. So whichever one that you pay your bills with, or you're counting money with your right, or you're writing a check with your right, that's your giving hand. Okay? So the other opposite is your receiving. So you put your left, if you're right-handed, if you put your left thumb or hand over the 379, if that's what you're getting, or 777, whichever it is, what are you feeling? What are you feeling? Okay? So that's going to be your homework. The numbers that you got today, Spirit, everyone got it. Even if you only got 4 numbers, it's okay. As long as you got something, that's a start. And then from there, that's a bigger and deeper meaning. Yes, Patricia.
Tony, I was almost late for the class. I came back. I was in a very dark place with someone, like not dark, there was no light. And they were trying to shine a light on a number. And they said, it's not quite bright enough. And I said, I have a light on my phone. My phone light was still on when we started the class. And I looked at it and went, oh, my light's still on. I put the light on the number on this tiny little thing. And the number was 999. And I raced straight back. And I said, oh God, I'm going to be late. And I raced in and I had my coat on and I was sweating and I got ready and I sat down and we started this. My whole life has been about numbers. Yeah. My whole life has been about numbers. And so just before we started the meditation, I noticed my light was still on my phone and I went, oh my gosh, the light's still on. Because I said to him, I have a light. And when I shone it, it was 999 on this little tiny thing that big. And all the series of numbers I have today, a lot of them came out to 999. And I just went, okay, this is completion on that. This is complete.
Absolutely.
I need never ask another question about this. This is complete. And I've never had it be so blatantly in my face with the numbers as it was today, to come back to our class and to have our class be so perfect. Mm-hmm. And then when you didn't address 9, I was going, I wonder why Tony didn't address 999. This is like 999 is so big for me today.
Yes, 9 is a big number.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was so amazing. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, and I did that intentionally just to show that what the other numbers are. If you started getting 9s, it means you're done. And then shortly after the 9s, you're going to start getting 1s again, new beginning. So the ending of something, the ending of a job, the ending of a relationship, the ending of a career, doesn't mean it's the end. It means you have another career coming, you have another love coming, you have another job coming, you have another car coming. If you totaled your car, that's an ending of one car, but there's another one coming, okay? The biggest question I get most times is, Tony, this is great. I understand I'm getting all these numbers, but what do they mean? Because it just is so frustrating for me. I'm seeing 444 or 9s. And what am I supposed to do? From our dimension right now, how is it supposed to help, my everyday life? How is it? And it's what they're saying is that when they are sending you a number or a series of numbers, it's only part of the overall answer. Because every human, if they're out doing and they're doing their thing, gets 150 signs a day approximately. depending on. Now, if you lock yourself in your closet and you don't go anywhere and you intentionally just don't do anything, yeah, it's a little more challenging for spirit to show you these things. You're not on TV, not on the radio, not outside, you know. But if you're like most of us, you know, you're out shopping, you're doing your thing, you know, you're on the internet, you know, you're doing regular things, and you know you're trying to be out there, then spirit has a lot more options to be able to show you signs. So you'll get 150 signs a day. This is on top of the coins that you'll be in your path, or the feathers that you are crossing over, or you know, as coming out of a wooded area onto another wooded area, and in that time there's a car that stops and there's something written on this license plate. Or if actually somebody stops asking for directions, you know, for a certain school, like if I ask this question, should I go to this school? And then somebody stops me, I'm looking for such and such a high school. I'm getting some training there. I said, okay, that's a sign. And sometimes it's very obvious, but this is on top. But all these numbers this is how they communicate. So this is the first step, when instead of interpreting what your numbers mean, I think it's going to be a lot more beneficial to see what your numbers, what you feel about these numbers. And you'll see, I saw a pattern already. I'm very good, you know, identifying patterns. The first set was 403. Then a little while later, then it said 423. And then I saw another pattern, 493. Then I saw another pattern with 493 again. I said, okay. So there's the 3, the 6, and the 9. If you look up, and there's so much information about numbers, I'm not going to bore you or regurgitate what's already on YouTube and everything else, but the whole purpose of the 3, 6, and the 9 is so powerful. The 3, 6, and 9 is many times the keys to how to unlock parts of the universe. They say my tuning forks are either adds up to 3, 6, or 9. Every one of my tuning forks. So if I have a tuning fork which is a 396, it's a root chakra. When you add them all up, okay, it will be a 3, 6, or a 9, and it has a very designated to 417. That's 12. So there's a 3. Okay, so in other words, there's a very high appreciation, and right away it had the 3, the 6, and the 9 in there, and so it has something to do with what the universe wants to tell me. But what's in there also is the 0, because 0 means wholeness. Okay, I'm just getting somebody was going to ask about that. 0 itself is a number, of course, but it's also half part of the infinity symbol. If you take the infinity symbol and put the two circles together, okay, it partially is that infinity. So it's wholeness. Infinity just means it goes forever. We are whole all the time. And so that's what that. So I only had I had a few zeros in some of them. So it's about, they're trying to tell me something about being whole, but there is definitely a message. There's so much here, and I'm always dipping into spirit asking for messages, and I'm still getting so much. So in other words, there's always going to be a message for you if you don't, do it often. So this is one little nice introduction on numbers and how we can communicate through numbers. Okay, Spirit's just telling me, is there a number in this lifetime that means so much to you? It could be when you had your 16th birthday and somebody gave you a car. Or like, is there a number that constantly comes up for you that let's say one of your siblings passed away, or let's say a pet had passed away, or somebody moved away, and on a certain day, and you can't get this number 17, let's say, out of your head. It's been there your whole life. Is there a number like that? 4? Somebody has a 4? Okay. Anybody else has a significant number? You have 7 there, Sheila? Okay.
You already said mine. It's 16 has been my significant number
16?
since I was about 12 years old.
That's what I was getting. Somebody had a 16. So
Yeah, I know. As soon as you said it,
somebody had a 16.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, somebody has a 16. So that itself, if I just say 16, You have a smile on your face. So the number has an emotional impact on you. And that just scratches the surface of what other impacts that numbers can give you. This is just the one that you remember. But imagine anything ancestral. Oh my God. It just gets into a totally different thing. We won't talk about that now, but the idea is numbers have emotion. It's not that static number that what algebra is. The way they teach it in school, spirit is just shaking their head because it's so boring. It takes numbers and it dummies it down to an equation, and so many kids and people are struggling through it, and they're saying, "Oh my God!" Like they're totally destroying our language. And so, but we're trying to reintroduce numbers in a totally different way, where it's all about love, it's all about support, it's all about giving you the whatever you need, the essence of insight from your spirit guides. And this is how they communicate, through numbers. So if you loved somebody, would you not want to know their language? Like if somebody was Spanish, let's say, and you just don't understand the language, or Korean, or whatever, and you really like this person, and that's the limitation. Well, I'm going to learn Korean. I don't know. Or I'll learn Mandarin because I want to be able to communicate with this person. And this is just a human person. How would it be if your guides, which gives you everything, they're with you all the time, wouldn't it be nice to be able to communicate with them? And you start off with hand signals, and you start just as if you were learning a new language. And it's not like the alphabet. It's all about emotion. They're going to give it to you in streams. So when you say that, okay, I'm ready for number university. So every time you go to sleep, you say, give me another series or phrases that have to do with learning this language, because I want to be with you in this. And so every day you're going to get a phrase. You're going to get like little bits of homework and stuff. So that's the class today, and this is my message for you today. So hopefully the 90356 and 358. May God be with you. Have a good day, people, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Tony. Have a great weekend.
Tony, can I ask questions regarding numbers?
Yeah.
So I was going to ask Christine, but now you talk so much about numbers today. I went into like a completely spiritual store in Dana Point here in California. And the guy, our energy clicked from the very first moment I went into the store. I mean, like, it was just like blah, 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 blah. And then I saw something on the wall and it was saying Pisces on it. And I said, can I see that one with the Pisces? Because I'm a Pisces. And he said, what is your birthday? And I said, I'm born on the 12th. And he pulled out his driving license, and he was born on the 12th of March too. I've just literally, I know one person, I remember the person's name, but I never met anyone that I was clicking so much with had birthday on the same day as I. He's from 1976, but I'm from 1972. But it was just like, there's a message there from just having birthday the same day. And I was like, what does it mean?
It means the synchronicity between your energy and the other person. You have the same code or the same emotional thing and if it's a birthday, and this is where passwords come from, right? If you have your garage and then you say, well, my son's birthday is let's say July 15th, so it would be 0715 is the password. So that password means something only because I'm not going to forget it. If it's going to be 5684, yeah, let's put that in. In 5 minutes, what's your password? I have no idea. It's going to defeat the purpose of a password, so it has to mean something. So the number is forced to have you mean something. Okay,
Yeah.
so numbers do make a big deal. Yeah, so that's so when we look at it that way, look at it as this is their language. So let's see if we could learn their language a little bit. And I think in that
Hmm.
journey, you're going to find a little bit more about yourself because you're also a number.
Yeah.
Every cell in your body works on mathematics. The symmetry, the way things work, your breath, everything is math. You're just going to learn more about yourself. So it's going to be a very cool journey. I'm not really into numerology. I know a lot about numbers just from over the years, but the actual training of numerology, I don't feel I need to do because I feel numbers already. So I
Hmm.
don't want a human training to alter that. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense,
Mhm.
but that
Sacred
Hmm.
geometry.
sacred geometry. And anybody that is close to angels, the angel you want to bring in for sacred geometry is Archangel Raziel.
Oh
Okay?
well.
That's a very powerful angel, and it's all about math, geometry, algebra, calculus, everything to do with math. So that might be a good angel to go to bed with. Oh, that didn't come out right.
Can you say the
It came
name
out
again?
just great.
Can you say the name again?
Archangel Raziel. Here, I'll put it in the chat.
Raciel.
Uh,
It's funny you say that because under the meditation, I was kicked back to the Mayans, and the Mayans is all about math and numerology.
yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Where do you think they got it from? And it's all about math. So what they did, they dipped into, and not the whole tribe, but there was several shamans that were able to connect and be able to feel what it all meant, and then they took that feeling into math, and they were able to carve in all of their calendar. They carved it in stone. What
Yeah.
what it all meant, and it all made sense, and it all happened. Like the Mayans, this was done several thousand years ago, and they were able to predict the fall of Rome. They were able to predict when Pearl Harbor hit. They predicted the hitting of the two twin towers. Both came down. It was all done 2,000 years ago, thousands of years ago, because of math, numbers.
Mhm.
That's all it was, and they were able to bring it down to what it means in human. So that isn't that easy. But if you can get enough just to feel what it's like for you, and you don't have to write it down, you just feel it. That's good enough for you because you're not there as a translator, because that's different. If you are good in English but you're not very good translating, you wouldn't be a good translator. Okay, there are people that are very good in English but they are terrible translators. In other words, taking one language, translating it into another language. So if you know French, hearing it in French and then translating it in English, it sounds easy, but it isn't. The people that are doing that, they're extremely good at what they do. And it takes a lot of training. So as long as you could feel what the numbers mean for you, and you get it, that's all you have to do. That's as far as you need to go. You don't have to go so that how it works for other people. But hopefully this will give you, the essence of this class was to give you a sense of what numbers mean and how those numbers are actual parts of a message, and they'll put it on clocks, they'll put it on license plates, and there could be 72 numbers, and they'll take 3 of those numbers and plunk it somewhere, and you'll see it again and again everywhere. So this is why it's really hard when you have a 72 number message and you get 3. Tony, what does that mean? It's you see how vast it could be, and you're only getting it from a 20-minute meditation, and there's more than that. If this meditation were to be repeated, you'd get more numbers, and so the messages would keep going. So in other words, just trying to interpret what 3 numbers mean for you is very difficult. It's just so difficult to do that. But for those that are into angels, Archangel Raziel is a good one because that angel is a specific one for math, for sacred geometry, just like Patricia said, and that will bring in that energy, and it may come quicker In other words, it'll still come if you bring in Archangel Michael, or if you just, do it through your own faith, whether it's God or whatever. But Archangel Michael is specifically for math, okay, for those that are interested. And so, we'll see what that is. But if you get a lot of nines and you get a lot of sixes, that means, okay, the lessons are learned, you're at the end, and then you look for ones, because those are new beginnings. And you get a lot of ones. Are you getting any zeros? I got quite a few zeros being whole. Okay, so we'll see you next week, guys, and have a good weekend. And let me know how the numbers worked out for you, okay, as you start to look at your messages and you start feeling what these numbers mean. This is the way they speak. So start learning or probing what the meaning is for you, okay? And if you have trouble, let me know. If you want a private session, we can do something. Or we just keep practicing. Eventually you'll get it. It's all about timing. Okay? So we'll see you next week, guys and ladies.